Welcome to the Coach Harp Show. Today we have a very great guest who's been an MMA fighter for many, many years, and he's also been a champion. Nick Ring, welcome to the Coach Harp Show.
Hello.
How are you doing today, Nick?
I'm very good.
I've always wondered about MMA fighters. How did you make a transition into the business world?
I would say I was doing that pretty young in my life. Like I always liked the independence of, running my own projects and, doing my own thing. I was never really wanted to be a employee. So I mean, like, that wasn't very hard. I was just, I wanted to get into real estate pretty early. And as I was training and I was taking fights, I was saving deposit money for, buying property. So, I mean, like, that was just kind of a given, right? Pretty early on. So, as a fighter, you make little lump sums, so what I was doing, saving those lump sums so I could, get into the real estate.
Thank you for sharing that, Nick, because I noticed that a lot of athletes are transitioning to something after sports. That's pretty cool. Thank you for sharing that with us.
Yeah.
What are some of the greatest lessons you've learned from MMA journey?
Well, MMA is a very hard sport. Lessons, like, first of all, you need to work hard, to be successful in it. You need to be consistent, build skills and put things into your toolbox. And, I mean, like any MMA fighter knows, like, there's plenty of obstacles, to overcome, right? So, I mean, you just have to be willing to find a way around the obstacles in order to succeed. Yeah, every athlete of any kind, I don't care what sport it is, we all know this.
Yes.
Like, it's just your ability to overcome obstacles and succeed, and like, you don't get a lot of rewards for a lot of the time you put in either. You got to be willing to look back, just kind of move things forward. However you do.
Yes, you're right. Especially with an athlete mindset, you got to keep moving forward, stuff like that. Why is leadership so important to you?
Well, like, I don't know about leadership is important, I guess. I think number one thing, though, I just need to be willing to chart your own course. And, there's going to be, I think in the process of charting your own course, there's going to be, people following in your wake a little bit. You should be, I guess you are a leader in that sense of the word. And if you do have people that are, I guess, following you, just be authentic and move things along. If you can, I think the best leaders out there are people who would, they're able to serve, a big number of people, right? Meet other people's needs. That would be a good leader, I would say. But, at the heart of it, you're just, you're trying to move your life forward. And, if you can serve other people, in the process of that, just do so in the best way you can, right? So, the leadership thing, it's, I think it might mean different things to different people, but, if you're trying to achieve your goals and, in the process of that, you're probably going to need some help. So, you'll be leading those people. Just do so in the best way you can, right? And just, make sure you're, benefiting as many people as possible in that process, and that would be good leadership, right? It's got to be a win-win on both sides.
I like how you said the benefit from both sides. That's a very interesting concept because it takes two to listen and make sure we're moving forward too. So thank you for sharing your input on that. As we're talking more about leadership, I want to know about what hardship or roadblocks did you encounter in your journey of life?
As an athlete, I've had tons of injuries, concussions, I've had 5 knee surgeries, bone ribs, all sorts of things. I mean, you just got, thing is there. I mean, you get injured. I mean, you got to figure out a way to like improve, even if you're not able to train at 100%. Like that's, again, that's sort of like a mindset thing. It's like, okay, well, I'm not able to do this. How can I get better? This other aspect, right? If you're not able to be in the gym, like say training and rolling with somebody, well, surely you can be in the weight room, putting on some muscle and, rehabbing whatever you have to. I mean, that's fine. This is just part of it. I mean, you actually, some of those times that you're injured, I mean, that's where you make some of your best improvements, because these are things that you probably wouldn't have done had like fully functional. So, I mean, you just got to look for ways to like kind of make it happen. I mean, and as an athlete too, I mean, as you're putting in the work and everything, and you're putting in the hours to build your skills, like, usually you're not getting paid for any of that. Again, that's another obstacle that I think a lot of athletes know about. While they're putting in the work, I mean, well, how do you pay the bills on the, like in the meantime? I mean, just you gotta find creative ways, like just making things happen. So, I mean, as far as like, yeah, roadblocks, I mean, just make it happen. However you need to.
Thank you for sharing that. How do you deal disappointment in the matches?
Oh, like I don't know, what is a disappointment? I mean, like you have a bad outcome, that's okay. You know, I think the best thing I mean, the thing is that, like we say, like MMA, especially MMA. I mean, it's a, or any other fighting sport or any single, like a one-on-one competition. I mean, it's very like it's very honest, right? Like you don't have a team or whatever that's, like might have screwed things up, for you. This is you. You won or you lost. It's very honest in that regard. I mean, I think the most important thing, given those circumstances, is, I mean, well, you need to depersonalize it. Like this isn't you. Like what? Like you just need to, you need to find a way to just, look for the good things that happened. Like it's not, like you didn't do anything wrong necessarily. It's just, I mean, like you did do things wrong. You lost, but I mean, it's nothing about your character. I mean, like you did something along the process that led to a bad result. I mean, like just depersonalize it. Not a big deal. I mean, you just really need to be moving forward. One foot right in front of the other. It's like if you're going to get better from that, I mean, you need to focus on your strengths. What did you do good? What can you improve on? And on building on your strengths or whatever. I mean, you might actually be able to cover up on some of the, like you just don't have a good aptitude for. Like really, really, really on the strengths. Moving forward, and how do you leverage that into a competition? How do you steer a fight, say, into your and away from your weaknesses, kind of thing. And as far as like disappointment, like I don't think you should be thinking in those terms at all as an athlete. Like, like I think that the most successful people in the world, I mean, ironically, I mean, they're almost delusionally optimistic. I think that's a real good character trait. They just like they've got a real good way of like reframing things so that even when they lose a competition, somehow in their own mind, like they're still the winner. I think that's just it's a really good skill. Like I said, it is delusionally optimistic. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, as an athlete, you need to protect your confidence and, keep finding ways to just step things forward, as time goes on. And I mean, if you're willing to work hard and, just keep going and everything, and again, building on your strengths, I mean, you're going to get to a really good place. So I mean, I don't like the whole like disappointment conversation because it's irrelevant. I mean, the race has been run. Okay, well, what can you do better? And how can you improve from there? And just like who cares? That already happened. What are you going to do right now that's going to make you a better athlete and just a better person in general?
I like that because you're talking more a very, very strict athlete mindset, the discipline and the focus they have to get over obstacles in their life to move forward. I understand what you're saying because sometimes there's always stuff going to happen to you, right? How quickly can you bounce back?
Right? That self-talk. I mean, it's so. I can see this with like younger athletes, especially. At the high levels, I mean, these guys they know how to talk to themselves. At low levels, I mean, you try to build your confidence like until you get to a certain level, right? If you're not like very nurturing and like helping yourself along and telling yourself what good you're doing, I mean, you're not going to get very far. Like you want to be at a high level. You have to be very good with the self-talk and everything and encouraging and build yourself up just it's just kind of one day at a time. And as you build up those little successes, those small little things, they kind of aggregate to where you're kind of a force at a certain point, right? So you just got to kind of carry the momentum, move your life forward and always be good to yourself. It's just like there's bad things that are gonna happen, like you don't let that derail you. Like you're always on the way, always on the up.
Yes. I really appreciate your thought and your perspective on that. Next one, we're going to go into, I know you touched a little bit on it already. Do you have any advice for the audience or the next MMA fighter that's coming up?
Well, yeah, absolutely. I mean, just like any industry or any job you're doing, like you got to be consistent. You're going to see the results. I mean, the thing is with being an athlete is you might go many years without, getting a whole lot of accolades or, I guess success. You got to be willing to just kind of push through that and be consistent. I mean, you show up to training every day, just like you show up to a job. I mean, you might not want to even show up to training one day, just like you probably don't want to go to work on a day. I mean, it's irrelevant whether you want to go to work or not. You show up, and honestly, it's usually turns out better than you think it's going to. Like whether you wanted to be I mean, you got to be consistent, over a long period of time if you're going to see the result. So, like, yeah, that's the number one is consistent. Uh, that's good. That's gonna get you through a lot right there. I mean, two, you have to work hard. So work hard, work smart. Don't overtrain or anything, but just you got to work hard, be focused, and like every class or every session, I mean, you got to kind of have an agenda for what you're trying to achieve here. You're not just showing up, going through the motions. I mean, like, no, I want to get better in kind of this way, right? I mean, if you're training and I don't know, you're getting dominated in certain aspect. Okay, well, how do I actually get better at this? I mean, maybe you should be taking some notes. Go talk to somebody who like maybe knows how to get out of this little jam and like build a skill. I mean, it's always about putting tools into your toolbox. So you got to be very open-minded and you have to be coachable. I find with a lot of people, they're just not coachable, and it makes it a little harder when they're trying to get better, right? So, I mean, you really have to be very minded and willing to take things in and things a little bit different, here and there. I mean, again, consistent, but, same time, you got to be very willing and open to new information, and just take it in and just add another tool to the toolbox every single time.
I like how you said coachable, because even through my career, when I coach athletes, some of them are coachable, some of them aren't. And the ones that are coachable will end up going pretty far in sports. I totally agree with what you're saying.
Absolutely. It's absolutely it is.
Nick, if someone wants to get a hold of you, what are some ways?
Um, you know what? You could email me on Facebook, obviously. My email is niariing@hotmail.com. If you did want to contact me, you know, yeah, I mean, obviously, I do have my Facebook. It's just Nick Ring. You look me up. I got lots of friends and stuff. So, I mean, I take lots of messages. If you want to contact me, no problem. Just talk. I'm easy to talk to.
I know you are because look how you're on the Coach Harp Show today. So that means quite a bit to the audience to see what you have to give to us. So I appreciate that.
Oh,
So
no,
Nick, I want to say thank you for your time to be on the Coach Harp Show today.
awesome. I appreciate it so much.
Thank you. Everyone watching the Coach Harp Show, stay tuned. There'll be more special guests coming down on the show at www.coachharp.ca. Thank you.
Awesome.